Good afternoon. Welcome to Channel 8 and East Brunswick Boys High School Basketball. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro, being joined by Jim Allinder and Phil Hill for today's GMC final, Red Division final, that is, between East Brunswick and J.P. Stevens. And gentlemen, we're back once again. It was, about 2 years ago, Jim, I think, when East Brunswick won here against the same Stevens team. Obviously not the same Stevens team, but two teams that know each other quite well, have fought some hard, tough games this year. And I think the differential has been no more than 4 points in the two games. But let's start with East Brunswick. They come in, had a good tournament in terms of qualifying, getting into the quarters and the semis. How do they look today for you, Jim?
I think they're on an upswing. They really are. Let me just qualify with something real quickly. This is not just the Red Division final. This is the GMC County Championship final. And I think it's appropriate that Stevens and East Brunswick are playing because these are clearly the two best teams in the county, at least at this point. I don't know if Phil's going to agree with me on that, but I think they're both on a roll. They're both playing very, very well. And I kind of equate this afternoon's game somewhat like a prize fight. There's a lot of fights going on these days with Tyson and Bruno and Duran and Barkley. And I think these two teams are well equipped to trade punches because it's going to be that type of game. East Brunswick does have the advantage in depth. The depth is really starting to come out now in a big way. Dave Potter, Dave Fertig has been coming off the bench. Stevens is going to be going basically with 5 people, and that may be a contributable factor this afternoon with East Brunswick having the advantage. Brian Forte, I have to cite him. I think he has really stood out now that tournament time has emerged. On the foul line, he made some very crucial foul shots in the semifinal victory the other night, and he's taking control as a senior should. The rest of the players are, and Brett Charleston is another player that's doing very, very well. He's come up with some key points. I think East Brunswick has somewhat of an advantage, even though they have been beaten twice by Stevens. Both teams have good tournament experience.
Yeah. Phil, when we talk about Stevens, we talk about Tony Newsom and that pressing, tenacious man-to-man defense that they play.
They just have a fantastic defense. They just swarm all over you. They have great defensive players. You talk about Tony Newsom, but you have to talk about George Bowen, the young man that played Donnell Lumpkin for South Brunswick. Lumpkin scored 27 points, but George played an outstanding game. Each time he's played against Dwayne Taylor, he has outplayed Dwayne Taylor. Dwayne hasn't fared as well. And as you know, J.P. Stevens is 2-0. They feel they're 2-0. They feel they can beat him a third time, but they feel they have something to pay them back for. Pay the Bears back for. It was 1987 when they lost the 57-53 game, the great game with Greg Berliner and Seata and Zahn and all those great youngsters. And so J.P. Stevens wants to win this very badly. They are the Red Division champions, but they want to be the county champs.
Okay, and this is a big game. East Brunswick's only 2 real conference losses, and if you take out the McCurston tournament, their only real 2 losses have been to J.P. Stevens. It should be a good one here from the Rutgers Athletic Center, and we'll be back with the start of the action in just a moment. Well, good afternoon. We're about ready to go. The GMC finals here at Rutgers Athletic Center. East Brunswick coming in 21-5 against J.P. Stevens, 21-2. Jimmy, you have the starting lineups.
So quickly, a familiar scene for East Brunswick. Forte, 32. Taylor jumping at center, 25. Mark Harmon, 22. Ramon Trent and Dave Fertig, 24. Tony Newsom, 21, their star player. Bill Satorsky, 22, a 3-point threat. George Bowen, 32. Bill Thomas, 11. And Scott Lane, 24.
East Brunswick is in the visitors' white. Stevens in the dark green. East Brunswick will be moving right to left on your screen as we start. The tap is saved by Trent, and it will go out of bounds off East Brunswick, and Stevens will start off on offense.
Well, right away we'll get to see what kind of press, Phil, East Brunswick's going to apply.
Well, they have the press on, and as I mentioned before, I thought they took it off early the last time they played, and that was the difference.
Stevens wants to get the ball in the hands of Newsom, number 21. That's he.
Looks like Harmon's going to be covering him, John.
East Brunswick playing a man. Satorsky off the rim. Charleston with the rebound. Forte, who is the playmaker for the Bears, brings it up court.
And I tell you, what a job Charleston has done all this tournament, averaging 9 rebounds for the tournament.
Bad pass off the hands of Harmon.
Yeah, that's 2 errant plays by the Bears. Could be a little bit of nerves.
And East Brunswick will pick him up. Again, pressing. Stevens to Newsom. Newsom in and out. And here comes Forte. He has no help. He'll have to take it himself, and he does. And misses. Trent on the rebound, no good.
Boy, oh boy.
Zatorsky will bring it up quickly for the Hawks.
Bill Thomas with a big rebound for Stevens.
Well, just doesn't want to find the hoop on either side.
Newsom with the ball in his hands. Inside, blocked by Taylor. Newsom pulls it out. He's cold. Rebound is good. That's number 32, George Bowen.
And I tell you, the story early on is going to be rebounding. Bill Thomas came down with a big rebound. George Bowen right there. And whoever's able to control the boards is going to take this game.
It's 2-0 Stevens. Trent makes it 2-all. No foul called. I thought Trent was wrestled there for a moment.
Be interesting to watch these zone presses here and see how they try to get out of this.
And Bowen was on the line. It'll go over to the Bears.
And I tell you, we got to watch this Newsom-Harmon matchup here because it's going to be a big part of the story here. Can Mark Harmon shut down Tony Newsom?
At least if they're playing man-to-man.
Forte calling out the play. Charleston will take it from the paint. Short. And the Hawks looking to break. Zatorsky will keep it. Throws it up. Blocked away, though.
Oh.
And they're going to call a ball out on East Brunswick.
Well, I wonder if they the official pointed the wrong way.
That he did.
Yeah, okay.
All right, East Brunswick will take it.
There's another bit of a press.
And so far, the game has become quite physical. Harmon nearly has it stolen, dumps it off to Taylor, and a foul's going to be called on number 11. That's Bill Thomas.
Well, it's the first official foul of the game anyway. Where's banging going on down there?
And Mark Harmon did the smart thing. He actually lost control of the ball, but couldn't tap it to anybody and tried to put it up.
We're tied at 2 with 5:22 left in the first period. A lot of action, no scoring, however.
Boy, Phil, you want to see Dwayne Taylor get in this game, don't you?
Well, he has to get in the game in order for the Bears to win.
Trent from the outside, swish. 4-2 East Brunswick.
As I mentioned before, George Bowen has outplayed him the previous 2 times.
Oops, he's on the line again.
You're right, Jim. It'll go over to the Bears.
And this just has to be the jitters that come with a GMC final, as these are two usually well-disciplined teams.
GMC finals right here, East Brunswick Stevens. 4-2 East Brunswick with the lead inside to Taylor. Stuff! He jams it down. 6-2 East Brunswick.
And I tell you, that's the first time we've seen him do a jam off a pass there, and that may be the thing to ignite the Bears.
Well, Dwayne Taylor certainly wants to have a good game. He's admitted that he's been nervous in the previous 2 games, the quarterfinals and the semifinals, and he really wants a nice game today.
Newsom looking for the hoop. Short. Forte with the rebound. East Brunswick 3-on-2. Forte to
What a pass.
Trent off the glass. It's 8-2 the Bears. And timeout. No, I thought Stevens was going to call a timeout.
Well, they might want to wait till they get over the half-court line. Oh, great rebound.
Taylor. Ball off of Forte.
I tell you, you got to like the way the Bears are going to the boards, though. They're determined that everybody's going to get involved in rebound, and they're showing it early on.
Zatorsky outside, yes. Makes it 8-4.
Now, his specialty is a three-pointer, but obviously he'll take it from whatever range he can get.
Well, I'll tell you, the Hawks got to be glad to see Zatorsky hit that. He only scored 2 points against South Brunswick in the semifinals, so he's starting early, and they got to be glad about that.
Harmon by himself, off the rim. Charleston fights and loses it to Newsom. quick pace here in the first period, 3:30 to go. East Brunswick on top, 8-4.
John, you see Charleston on Bowen.
Zatorsky fakes, takes the step, off.
Woo!
Harmon is banged by Bowen.
Is it Bowen or Bowen now?
It's Bowen.
It's
okay,
Bowen?
All right,
Yes,
fine.
it is.
Okay.
So really the matchup is George Bowen and Brett Charleston.
Second team foul on Stevens. First period action from the Rutgers Athletic Center. This is for the GMC Championship. East Brunswick was here 2 years ago and beat this very same Stevens team. Trent having a little difficulty inside, throws it away. Zatorsky back to Newsom. Stevens slowing it down.
These are interesting matchups here. Trent on Zatorsky.
Newsom calling out a play. This is Lane inside.
Nice play.
Stripped away by Charleston. Forte has it. Looks back to Trent. Trent is fouled. Newsom will be called, number 21.
And I tell you, Brian Forte coming down the court, almost identical plays with his peripheral vision, seeing Trent on the side and passing off nicely to him.
You know, we have 2:24 left, John, in the first period, and East Brunswick has yet to have a team foul.
The Bears by 4, 8-4. As Trent goes to the line, he'll shoot 2. Makes the first. An East Brunswick crowd is starting to filter in, providing some support.
Vocally, anyway, they're filtering in.
Trent hits both, so East Brunswick's lead now by 6. East Brunswick loosening up a little bit on the press. Zatorsky, a three-pointer, won't go. Forte with the rebound.
Yeah, he blocked out Lane very nicely on that.
Harmon was open for a moment. East Brunswick going a half-court game.
Look at this matchup here, huh?
Forte, a little short, gets his own rebound.
Oh, boy.
And puts it in off the glass.
One of the things the Hawks wanted to do was to stop Brian Forte from penetrating and handing off, or trading and laying up. He penetrated that time, pulled up, and popped the short jumper.
Hawks moving the ball around, looking for the open man. 1:23 left in the period. Inside to Newsom. Newsom's cold. Bowen pulls it down. Now Lane has it. Shoots it back over to Thomas. And this is not the Stevens team we expected to see out there today.
You know, I was just going to say, Dave Potter's going to be going in for Dwayne Taylor, and that's a move that Bohenning has been making late in the first period, regardless of whether Taylor has a foul or not.
Well, I'll tell you about that.
Vertigo also is on the sidelines, going to be coming in.
Inside to Bowen, blocked by Taylor. And they're going to call Taylor for a foul.
Oh,
Yeah.
rough one.
Tough call.
I tell you, in basketball now, they no longer have the call of force out, so it either has to be a foul or nothing. This time they chose to call a foul.
Well, the ball did go out of bounds, so they had to make some call.
Jimmy, you talked about Potter coming in early for Taylor, and the reason for that is his wind. He just doesn't – you got racehorses, as Bohenning said out there. Everybody else can go up and down that court. Taylor's has yet to develop that. He's a big man.
Yeah, he even said he wants to develop more stamina,
35 seconds left in the period. East Brunswick by 8, 12-4. First team foul for East Brunswick as Zatorsky blocked from behind by Potter. Thomas follows up for the bucket.
And Bill Thomas hurt the Bears last time. He averages only 5 points a game, but scored 17 against them.
Forte drives right to the hoop. 14-6. Inside of 5 seconds.
Geez, I don't think they...
Newsom. And it goes at the buzzer to make it 14-8.
Nice touch.
So at the end of 1, it's East Brunswick 14, JP Stevens 8.
Well, I'll tell you, John, 2 things that the Hawks haven't been able to stop thus far. One of the things they want to do, they want to stop Brian Forte from penetrating. And Brian, as you see, has 6 points, has 4 points, I believe. But he's passed off either to Trent, and they haven't been able to stop him. Rebounding, everybody for the Bears seems to be hitting the boards rather aggressively.
That's right. And Ramon Trent came through with 3 two-pointers from the outside. He made both of his foul shots, so he has 8 points to have the majority of the scoring. And then Taylor had that 1 bucket there. For Stevens, Newsom, Zatorsky, Bowen, and Thomas each have 1 basket. And to keep Stevens under 10 points for a quarter is really doing a job.
That's true. They can explode at any time, however. The thing I think the Hawks got to worry about is Z, the man they call Z, Zatorsky. He hasn't been on last game. As I said, he only scored 2 points. They want to get him on the board early.
All right, we're ready to go with second period. East Brunswick on top by 6, 14-8. In terms of team fouls, East Brunswick has 1, Stevens has 3.
And East Brunswick will open up with Potter and Fertig in the lineup. This is where depth can become an advantage for East Brunswick if they can hold this lead.
There's Zatorsky with the ball, looks inside for Thomas. Thomas on a little turnaround, and they're going to call it good. A foul on Harmon, I believe.
And a good move by Bill Thomas. As I mentioned before, he only averages 5 points a game. Last time in East Brunswick, he played a superb game, scored 17 points, and he really hurt him. So, you know, it's one thing to stop the people that are supposed to beat you, but when you let somebody else that normally doesn't do well score a lot of points against you, that can really hurt you.
Right, and Taylor goes right back into the ball game. East Brunswick wants to plug up that middle again.
Thomas at the line. He'll shoot 1 to make the 3-pointer. Misses, and it's pulled down by Charleston.
Who else? He gets all the garbage.
Certainly had a lot of garbage points in that semifinal against Amboy.
Fertig taking the point position. That's not a position he's comfortable with. Looking inside for Forte, who went low, puts it up off the glass to make it 16-10.
That's Tony Newsom covering Brian Forte, and so far hasn't been able to stop him.
Hasn't been able to stop him. He's post up. He's popped from the top and gone down low.
Lane will take the shot far out and hits. 16-12. Second period action from Rutgers Athletic Center. GMC Finals, East Brunswick and Stevens.
Well, Stevens seems to be settling down and getting a little more into the flow of the game.
Jimmy, I think your analogy early on about a championship fight is going to be true. Taylor unable to hold on to it. The Hawks bring it up quickly. Newsom looks to Lane, who's by himself, and Lane is hot.
Right.
Stevens now trails by 2, 16-14. Charleston to Forte, and they're going to call a charging foul.
And the Hawks have talked about this. They believe Brian drives an awful lot. They want to be able to get the offensive foul on Brian. They just picked up 1 there.
Timeout East Brunswick with 6:26 to go, second period.
Yeah, the trend started to turn there with Scott Lane hitting 2 important buckets. Zatorsky hasn't been in the offense. You mentioned that, Phil. And then Tony Newsom really hasn't been doing too much. He only has 1 basket.
Let's give Mark Harmon some credit.
Yep.
You know, as we look in on Coach Bo Henney, and I know my vote doesn't count, but I think this gentleman here is the Coach of the Year in the GMC. Here's a young man who's come over from a different school, a much smaller school, to take on a Group 4 power like East Brunswick, not knowing really what this team was going to be all about this year, and what a super job he has done.
Well, I'll tell you, John, in the game against St. Peter's and also against Amboy, when Amboy went out on top 10-4, he called that a crucial timeout, kept his coolness, just directed the kids what to do. The kids responded, and he's got a lot of savvy. You got to like the young man.
All right, time in. Stevens will have it. It's a 2-point lead for the Bears. At one time, they were up by 6. Stevens has started this second period on fire, 16-14. And East Brunswick goes back to the press.
And we have Ramon Trent playing Newsom right now. Of course, Harmon isn't in the game.
Newsom bounds it around, but he gets it in, and we're tied at 16.
George Bowen with a steal.
Bowen steals it and puts it in.
2 quick buckets. Boy, this is an aggressive.
And another block by
press.
Bowen.
Very aggressive press.
He is without a doubt the best defensive player in Middlesex County, in my opinion.
That's a statement.
And look what's happened. They put Forte to throw it in.
Boy, this is a nice press.
And here we go. Trent will wait for some of his teammates.
That press definitely disturbed East Brunswick.
Forte, he's got the lane. Can't do it. Charleston on the rebound. No good. And Bowen will pull it down for the Hawks.
Bears are cold.
Zatorsky, quickly. Blocked by Taylor, and a foul's going to be called on Charleston.
Yeah.
And what a turnaround as Stephen goes out on top, 18-16.
Well, I think they got a little relaxed and, you know, remembered, hey, we're JP Stevens. We're 21-2.
Well, they're the Iron Five. They just don't substitute. They went all of the game against South Brunswick without substituting once. Here the Bears took advantage to substitute to give their players a breather, and it cost them a little bit.
Right. Henning is substituting now. Again, Forte is taking a rest.
Harmon comes back in as Zatorsky goes to the line.
I think the strategy for the Bears is to give its players a little bit of a rest and hope by the fourth quarter, if they're still close with Stevens, maybe that's going to be the energy they need.
Good point, Jimmy. Here at Rutgers, this court is 10 feet longer than the average high school court, and it's also wider, so it's much more running for these young players.
Boy, this is a nice press.
Harmon trying to get it in. They do. 5:25 left in the second period. Stevens now by 4, 20-16.
Boy, I don't think Forte is going to be out for long.
Harmon takes the move to the paint. In and out. Taylor on the rebound. Yes, and he's fouled.
Bill Thomas fouling Dwayne Taylor. Dwayne Taylor going up very nicely with the offensive rebound.
Yeah, he's going to have to assert himself in there. He really is. There comes Forte, John, just like I thought. Just a brief rest.
Taylor can put the Bears within 1. And this is a slugfest. We've gone back and forth.
That was Thomas's second foul, by the way. There's still 5 minutes left in the second period, so he has to watch himself.
And he makes it 20-19.
And I tell you, both teams have 14 fouls right now. The next one, of course, they'll be in the penalty phase.
Good press here by the Bears.
Newsom gets it across midcourt. A little give and go. Newsom underneath to Thomas. Blocked by Taylor. Blocked again. And Harmon pulls it down.
Dwayne Taylor with his 138th block of the year.
Yeah, that's 5 this game and 133 coming in.
Forte, and they're going to call him for turning it over. It's 20-19. Stevens by 1. 4:36 to go, second period. Newsom underneath to Thomas, stolen by Charleston. To Forte. 2-on-1. Underneath to Trent. Trent, oh, it won't go.
Yep, 32.
And a foul by Bowen.
I tell you, a foul Bowen shouldn't have made, and certainly Vince Cirillo didn't want him to make.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, though, it did cause Trent to miss that shot. So it did save 2 points temporarily, at least.
Trent will go to the line. He's in the bonus situation.
Have we had a timeout yet?
I'm surprised that's not a 2-shot foul, gentlemen.
Short.
And I think everybody, they thought it was, because nobody moved after that shot.
Stevens still by 1, 20-19.
A lot of switching going on underneath.
Bowen, turnaround. Won't go, but Lane pulls it down. Keeps the drive or hope alive for Stevens. Missed there, and here comes Charleston down court to Harmon.
Oh, touchdown.
And East Brunswick goes on top, 21-20.
Boy, show that films to the scouts. Mark Harmon hasn't lost his speed, or at least he's regained it. That was a great save there. I thought that was going out of bounds for sure.
He turned on the burners.
That could be a strategy, Phil. After the rebound.
Oh,
foul against Newsom.
Give Mark Harmon credit there. He drew that foul. Perfect positioning.
Phil, I was starting to say the strategy may be, you know, to release one of the players after the rebound.
3:15 remaining, second period. East Brunswick by 1.
Third foul, according to the clock.
Third foul on Newsom, if that's accurate.
Well, we'll have to check that.
Forte looking, dumps it to Charleston. Who hits it?
Boy, they're coming back and forth. This is really an excellent game.
The Bears by 3. Bowen on the drive, stolen by Trent.
Oh, boy, look at this.
Down court quickly, Forte. He's got Charleston in the corner. I don't think he sees him. He'll pull it back out now.
Watch for Taylor here.
Harmon across to Charleston.
Try to get into Dwayne.
Three-pointer for Forte, out of his range. Lane with the rebound. And I think stamina is going to be a factor here.
No doubt about it.
We mentioned Steven basically plays with the same 5. Thomas underneath. He's able to squeeze it in.
And that was a giveaway by Dwayne Taylor. He just thought about slapping in there and perhaps fouling.
Could have afforded it. He only has 1.
The Bears by 1, 23-22 with 2 minutes left, second period. Harmon to the basket, is fouled.
What we got here?
I think it's Bowen, 32.
That's his third. So Stevens is going to be in some foul trouble here in a moment.
And they're not used to substituting. You see Al Lovett, number 23 in the game for Newsom, and he didn't get into any of the playoff games that I saw.
Check that. Okay, this is where we seem to have the discrepancy. According to the clock, Bowen has his second foul, so apparently a foul that Newsom was awarded was given to Bowen.
Harmon hits it. He'll get another.
You guys got that?
Sure, Jim.
24-22, the Bears by a bucket. Harmon can make it 3. And he does. 25-22 as they press Lane. Trent almost stole it.
Oh,
and they're calling it Stevens' ball.
I'll tell you, first time I've ever seen Bo Henning show such great emotion.
Well, he wanted that one because it clearly was off Scott Lane's foot, and the official was not in a position to make the call.
Timeout, Stevens.
Yeah,
Phil, I know you've had a chance to talk with Coach Cirillo from Stevens.
Yes, I have, and Cirillo just feels that he's going to play pretty much the same type of game that they played the other 2 games. He doesn't feel that he's going to change anything, and why should he? They've done very well with it. I think, as you pointed out earlier, stamina may be the thing. They've finished a grueling double overtime with South Brunswick, and as I pointed out, the court is 10 feet larger here and a little bit wider, and it's much more running, and it takes its toll. Plus, you're playing a team that is pressing you all over the court. So late in the fourth quarter, it's going to be interesting.
There's Cirillo right there. He's admonishing his team to stay with East Brunswick in terms of their offensive output. But foul trouble is what's plaguing Stevens right now. Newsom is already sitting on the bench. He probably will not see action for the rest of this half. Minute 48 left, John. And then Bowen has 2 fouls. Bill Thomas has 2 fouls. They're very important players.
All right, we're finishing up round 6 of this championship fight. Here we go, a minute 40. Bears by 3. Lovett with the ball.
Remember
Gets it
Al
out.
Lovett, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Bowen.
A nice move by Bowen, right to the hoop.
Strong move.
25-24, the Bears by 1.
So Lovett is covering. These are the two quarterbacks for Stevens and East Brunswick.
Look at underneath to Taylor, and he's fouled by Lovett.
I'll tell you what, if he didn't try to stuff that ball with the continuation, he probably would have gotten 2 points.
And that's what happened. You saw George Bowen leaning on Taylor. Taylor took one step back. Bowen fell back to air, and the ball was passed in nicely to Dwayne. Dwayne almost made the basket.
I like this strategy here, getting the ball into Taylor, because that means foul trouble for Stevens. If they can get those forwards and centers in trouble.
Taylor will get 2. Missing the first, kind of a line drive. Needs to put a little arc on that.
East Brunswick 4 for 6 from the foul line.
And Taylor misses the second. 1:10 left. East Brunswick by 1.
Ooh.
3-on-1 here. Nope.
Satorsky to Lane. Lane looks underneath to Thomas. And now Stevens takes the lead by 1. 26-25. 55 seconds left.
I'll tell you, Bill Thomas wasn't even the starter at the beginning of the year, and he's really come on, certainly against East Brunswick.
Trent. Won't go. Thomas with the rebound.
Didn't seem too comfortable on that shot.
Off-balance shot.
They're going to play for 1, it looks like.
35 seconds. Remember, Newsom is sitting. This is Lovett with the ball. So they'll probably look to Zatorsky or Thomas for the shot. Down to 13 seconds.
They're spreading them out here, no doubt about it.
Inside of 10, 5 seconds. Lane throws it up. Thomas, and he hits it with 1 second. That'll be the half. 28 rather, 25 as they go to the locker room.
Thomas happened to be in the right place at the right time there.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, that could turn out to be an important point here. They're going back and forth, but still 28-25, John.
Gentlemen, it's everything we thought it would be,
It's a super
and
game.
more. Phil?
I'll tell you, if you were to ask JP, Stevens has to feel pretty good about where they are. They had Tony Newsom sitting on the bench for quite a few minutes, and nevertheless they're up by 3 points at the half, and yet the Bears can't feel too badly about the type of game that they played. I've mentioned it before, Thomas has come up with some crucial baskets, a kid that only averages 5 points a game, yet each time he plays the Bears, he has a big game.
I think it's open season, John. I really do. I think it's up to any team to just take charge here. Both of the teams are having their problems. Stevens with fouls. East Brunswick, I think, has really not had an advantage off the rebounding. And I think they're going to have to assert themselves, especially Dwayne Taylor in the second half.
Well, we'll see. It's been a give and take kind of game, and as Jimmy mentioned up front, it's like a championship fight. Both teams punching, both teams resting a little bit, and it's only a 3-point margin for the Hawks. We'll be back with the start of the second half in just a moment.
Oh, really?
Shut up.
As we get ready to start this second half, you see on your screen Dr. Joseph Sweeney, who will be retiring after many years of service to East Brunswick. And we would like to take this opportunity to wish Dr. Sweeney all the best in his retirement. I know he'll be quite active. More importantly, Dr. Sweeney has been a very quiet but very firm voice in support of Channel 8 and particularly the sports that we present to you here on Channel 8. So we wish him nothing but the best.
All right, John, we're going to start very quickly. Typically, East Brunswick has balanced scoring with Ramon Trent leading the way with 8 points. None in the second quarter, though. Forte 6, Dwayne Taylor 5, Mark Harmon 4, and Brett Charleston 2. Bill Thomas leads the way with 10 points for Stevens.
Here we go. East Brunswick quickly brings the ball in to start this second half. They trail by 3, 28-25.
And watch for Taylor to get more involved.
Charleston from the foul line hits it.
Like I said, watch for Taylor to become more involved.
Well, Brett Charleston, the captain of this East Brunswick Bear team, always comes through when when you seem to need it the most.
He only had 2 points in the first half, so he's looking to improve his game.
Bears trail by 1, 28-27 as Zatorsky misses. Taylor looking for some help.
I'll tell you, and Zatorsky is struggling for the Hawks.
Great
Underneath
pass.
to Trent. Yes.
Great pass. Great pass.
Forte finds the open man.
Great pass, great vision.
The Bears have erased that 3-point deficit.
They take the lead 29-28. And here we go again, back and forth. Newsom forces one up and he draws the foul. It's going to be on Harmon, I believe.
Oh boy, tough foul there because Newsom was off balance.
Off balance, but in control, and that's a trait of Tony Newsom. He seems to be always in control.
Second foul on Harmon.
You know, we talked about Brett Charleston not being involved in the offense. Newsom only had 4 points, partially because he had to sit down for the last 4 minutes with 3 fouls.
Newsom hits to make it 29-29.
John, I was going to say the first half was almost like a tape of the first half of the game 2 years ago.
Newsom puts the Hawks on top by 1. Forte brings it up for the Bears. You're getting your money's worth today in this game. 2 of the best.
Boy, they're fronting and backing Taylor. They know how important he is to this game.
And look at George Bowen.
Harmon couldn't do it, but a foul's going to be called on Taylor reaching in.
Boy, I'll tell you what, from our vantage point, it was all arms over the top.
I tell you, perpetual motion by Bowen, though. And they say he's 6'2", but you look at him, I'd be surprised if he's more than 6'1".
Phil, he's one of those players that may be 6'1", but plays like he's 6'5". The Hawks by 1, they bring it up 30-29. Looking underneath for Bowen, won't go. Satorsky can't do it.
Could have been a partial block there.
It was a block by Taylor.
Forte driving down the lane, loses control, and it'll go over to Stevens.
Brian trying to do the job himself. I don't think Bo really wants to see that at this point, Phil.
I tell you, seemingly you'd like to get Trent back in the game. He started out, as you pointed out, Jimmy, with 6 points early on in the game and has come up with nothing the rest of it.
Well, he does have the first bucket of the half, but still, you're right about that.
Newsom won't go. Thomas underneath. Bangs it in.
He gets another one.
32-29. Hawks by 3. Third period action, GMC final.
Well, it seems like East Brunswick wants to be more predictable, slow things down.
Looking inside, that's Harmon with the ball. Finds Trent. Back out to Forte.
This is an important sequence for the Bears.
Underneath, Charleston. And they're going to call a charge on him.
Well, this is an important time, I tell you what.
Again, Bowen drawing the offensive foul.
East Brunswick has 3 quick team fouls. Stevens, none.
5:25 remaining, third period.
That was Charleston's second. And if Stevens scores here, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a timeout.
Well, I think you'll definitely see a timeout. Lane. No good. Bowen underneath. And he's fouled over top by Harmon.
Mark picks up his 3rd foul. Stevens definitely getting the boards.
And that's nothing new, Jim. Stevens has out-rebounded East Brunswick 2 previous games.
You want to see a strange foul shooting style if we can get a whole shot of Bowen here. He almost does deep knee bends when he shoots a foul shot. It's highly unusual.
And Fertig is going to come in for Harmon.
Well, he looks good in practice anyway.
Watch how low he goes.
The end result is all that counts. 33-29. In and out. Charleston with the rebound. Bears trailing by 4.
Phil, I agree with you. Ramon Trent has really not been in the game in this half.
Charleston won't go. Bowen with the rebound. East Brunswick's somewhat cold. Satorsky. And they're going to call a foul on Fertig. Tough foul.
A very tough foul. Looked like he got a piece of the ball there. Zatorsky really seems to be unsure of himself. I think the young man's lost his confidence. 2 points last game. Jimmy has...
This time around, he's got 4 points.
He's got 4 points so far, but certainly not on his game. You're talking about a young man that has scored 61 three-pointers coming into this game. Nobody in the county even near that.
Yeah, you get the sense that he probably doesn't want to attempt any of those.
Missing. Knocked away by Bowen.
Well, Bears catch a break there.
And this is a time where someone has to take charge for East Brunswick on the court. They're down by 4, 4:43 left. They don't want that lead to get any bigger, as Stevens has shown ability to play tough defense. Forte calling out a play. Taylor has not been much in the offense. There's Forte, nice move.
Down low.
Yeah, that's what he did successfully in the first half.
Again, he's doing everything.
33-31. Stevens by 2.
Oh, Newsom's open.
Newsom hits. 4-point lead for the Hawks.
No wasted motion by Newsom. Looks like he doesn't even sweat. Just nice and easy.
Trent will take a long one. Won't go. Bowen, who has boxed out Taylor.
Who else?
Pulls it down, and here comes Newsom. 4-point lead for the Hawks. 3:35 to go in the period. Satorsky throws up a brick. Taylor to Trent, 2-on-1 to Fertig, and Fertig puts it in. 35-33.
Nice movement.
Really one of the first fast breaks East Brunswick has had this game.
Newsom driving, has the ball stripped, and it'll go to East Brunswick.
That was a Charleston play.
They're going to change it. I thought it went off Newsom's leg too.
Yes, it's still East Brunswick's ball. Official looking for a clarification. For what reason, I don't know why. Here comes the press, John.
East Brunswick needs a bucket here. Fertig. He's going to take it himself. No, it won't go.
Mercy.
Boy, tough one there.
35-33. That could have tied it. Lane being pressed by Forte. Looks like he's traveling, no call. They get it back out to Newsom.
I'll tell you, great defense by the Bears.
Boy, this man-to-man defense, it's got to be taking its toll.
Satorsky looks underneath to Bowen. Back out to Satorsky. He almost tried that three-pointer, had some idea. Thomas underneath, takes a few steps, and a foul is called on Taylor.
Poor Dwayne. Seems like every time he flicks his arm out there, he gets nailed with a foul call.
Bill Thomas again going to the boards, though.
It's Taylor's third.
Raska is going to come in.
Andy Raska. He's been doing a nice job for East Brunswick.
Taylor will come out. We have 2:28 left, third period. Stevens by 2, 35-33, and Thomas looking to add to that lead.
Andy Raska has been, of course, a JV starter for a part of the year, but he's proved himself to be a valuable varsity performer also.
Thomas missing the first. Charleston is fouled underneath by Bowen.
Now he has his third foul. Well, they're going to call a foul. I don't know what kind of a foul it was, quite frankly.
Pushing from behind. East Brunswick with a chance to tie it up at 35.
There they go. So Taylor
Forte.
sits.
Charleston took a step before he had it. Newsom turning the ball over, no call. And he'll throw one up. Rasko makes the save, and they say he's on the line.
I'll tell you, it's going to be interesting to watch the game the rest of this quarter here. East Brunswick already in the 1-on-1 situation, foul-wise, 5 team fouls, and that can work to J.P. Stevens' advantage.
See, Stevens definitely has fouls to give.
Inside of 2 minutes. The Bears down by 2.
Well, with Taylor out of there, watch for Stevens to work the ball down low.
Satorsky. And he's laid out by Fertig, rather.
Dave's just a little bit aggressive. You know, he ought to just allow the ball to go up in the air and just, you know, avoid the foul.
Especially with Satorsky today, he's off.
He's off.
So let him shoot it. Harmon will come in, Fertig will take a seat. Or Trent, rather, will come out.
Well, Ramon Trent has been bothered somewhat by an ankle injury that he absorbed early in the tournament. And he's done a good job as best he can.
Well, he plays a good all-around game. I mean, usually he's on the receiving end of a fast break.
Satorsky misses the second, and Fertig with the rebound. 36-33, the Hawks by 3, 1:38 to go, third period, as Forte takes it himself.
Again.
Nice drive.
East Brunswick trailing by 1. It's been nip and tuck the entire game. Newsom. Line drives it in. Harmon, short. Lane with the rebound, down court to Satorsky. Forte on the follow-up. The bucket's good. 40-35, 5-point lead now for Stevens.
East Brunswick has to watch itself.
Ooh. Good hustle. Good hustle by.
Oh, they call it out on
both
Harmon.
Officials missed it. Both officials missed it. Well, just an unfortunate circumstance right there.
But I tell you, give Bill Satorsky some credit for the hustle.
45 seconds left, third period.
Yeah, they might hold.
Stevens by 5.
Tell you what, 7-point advantage here. If they can this bucket, it'll make it very difficult for the Bears to come back.
And look for the ball to end up in Newsom's hands. Who else?
East Brunswick has to watch it doesn't foul here. Stevens in a 1-on-1.
23 seconds.
Newsom's going to take the shot.
And they call a foul on Fertig.
Oh, boy.
9 seconds.
That's exactly what the Hawks wanted.
Well, the Bears certainly didn't want a foul in that situation. They wanted to run it down, force them to make a shot under pressure.
Newsom will be the recipient of the bonus situation here. He'll get another. 41-35.
Well, he's has 7 points in this quarter. He's been the most effective player for the Hawks.
He cans the second. 7-point lead, 42-35, 7 seconds. Forte won't go. Fertig, can he put it up?
He can put it up.
He does, a three-pointer.
Oh.
Won't go at the buzzer. So at the end of 3, it's J.P. Stevens 42, East Brunswick 35.
And the Hawks are starting to slowly pull ahead here. They had a nice break by allowing themselves to retain possession on that ball that went supposedly off Satorsky. But credit them with being more aggressive, coming up with the bigger rebounds. And as you pointed out, Phil, getting into their 1-on-1 situation really helped them out a couple times.
That's for sure, and it's still a dangerous situation for the Bears. J.P. Stevens with just 1 team foul, and of course the Bears are given J.P. Stevens that 1-1 situation already.
Well, what do you want to do, Phil, at this point? I mean, if you're East Brunswick, you're 7 points down, 8 minutes to go.
The truth of the matter, I thought perhaps a little bit earlier, a timeout would have been called to re-emphasize how important the rebounding was. I think you saw George Bowen and Bill Thomas start getting certainly too many rebounds, and I thought a timeout would be called and said, hey, listen, one of the main things we want to do is hit them boards, get them rebounds. That's going to make the difference, and it has hurt the Bears.
Well, the GMC championship comes down to this, the last 8 minutes, and right now the Hawks have the advantage, 42-35. They'll also have the ball. And the key man is right there, Tony Newsom.
East Brunswick with its starting lineup in now.
We'll see if Taylor becomes more active in the offense as Newsom throws it up. And Bowen comes down with it. Unable to put it in.
Look at him.
And Charleston finally pulls it down, and here we go, 2-on-1, Trenton Harmon. And they're gonna call a foul against Bowen.
Well, it's his 4th foul. He's gotta watch it, but still, they could afford it as a team.
George Bowen coming up with 2 rebounds before Charleston pulled down an all-important one.
Boy, you think
Bowen's
that's gonna hurt?
Yeah, it's definitely going to hurt. He's been the difference on them boards.
Coming in is Gertis, number 25 for Bowen. Taylor fouled by Gertis.
Real quick, picks one up.
These are important foul shots for East Brunswick.
Dwayne was shut out in the 3rd quarter.
Taylor will have 2 attempts at it. Short on the first.
Bend them knees a little.
And he makes it 42-36. The Hawks by 6. 4th and final period.
Mark Harmon all over Tony Newsom, trying to deny him the ball.
Satorsky gets it back out to Newsom. Out to Lane. Lane won't go. Charleston with the rebound. Quickly out to Forte. Forte's, they're going to call who?
Newsom. It's his 4th.
No one knows yet. It's on Thomas.
Thomas is raising his hand anyway.
I don't think so. It's on Tony Newsom.
You're right. Thomas tried the old disguise trick, tried to take the foul for Newsom, but
It's not a 1-on-1 yet, folks. Unless it's a 2-shot foul.
It is. He's shooting 2.
Okay.
Makes the first.
Nice concentration there.
This kid knows what pressure's all about.
Yep.
Timeout called, J.P. Stevens.
Well, good timeout as far as Stevens is concerned. Things have changed a bit with Tony Newsom having his 4th foul. George Bowen is already on the bench with 4 fouls. It changes things inside, Phil, for East Brunswick.
It changes things quite a bit. I expect East Brunswick to take advantage of George Bowen being out of the game. He's such a tremendous force in there, perpetual motion on the offensive boards and the defensive boards, and it's got to be a break for the Bears.
I think East Brunswick is going to come compounding, but you know, you would think in this situation that the ball would be lobbed inside to Taylor and let him go at it. I think maybe with Taylor Newsom on Brian Forte, that Brian's going to have a little bit more license to drive the ball inside and have some success like he has.
I think you probably will see him drive more because they can't afford to. Newsom certainly can't afford to foul, but it might be the time also to go to the half-court game and get the ball down to Taylor because you don't have George Bowen in there to defend him.
Well, 7:04 remains in the game. Stevens by 5, 42-37. And Forte at the line, he has one more free throw.
There's Lovett again.
Lovett will come back in for Newsom.
Interesting ploy there.
Newsom and Bowen sitting now.
Cirillo was probably just grappling with the idea of taking Newsom out and decided just at the last moment.
Forte brings East Brunswick within 4.
So here we go. Tense time, John.
Goes off Lovett's hands. East Brunswick has it.
And
They're not going to take any more chances. Is Lane going to go out, or are they going to take Lovett out?
Lovett comes out and Newsom back in.
And Newsom's the type of player that can play with 4 fouls for perhaps about 5 minutes because he plays under control all the time.
Ferdig comes in for Trent. .6:54 remaining. East Brunswick trailing by 4. They can make it within a bucket, though. They have the opportunity. Charleston will take it right to the hoop and is fouled by Thomas, number 11.
Well, they had Taylor fronted and backed. 2 men on it, so that left Brett Charleston free. Taylor picked, that foul was on Thomas, so it's his 3rd.
Again, important free throws for the Bears.
And he's the Bears' best free throw shooter. He's shooting at 70%. And of course, I jinxed him.
I'm sure you had everything to do with it, Phil.
Charleston misses the first. Both teams now have 5 team fouls. Ferdig trying to keep it alive, but Thomas will pull it down.
A couple big misses there. Well, let's see who comes to play.
It's getting down near crunch time. Forte all over Lane, and
Nice.
he steals it.
Boy.
Ferdig out in front. Should be an easy layup. Yes.
Great play by Brian Forte.
Super steal.
42-40. I think Newsom's going to hold the ball. He's going to shoot the ball. He's going to rebound. I think he's the only one they want to touch the ball. And he takes the shot. Throws it up.
Oh, mercy.
Tremendous follow-up.
Such control.
Never even left the court.
44-40. Stevens by 4. Forte to Harmon. He'll take it. He's short. Taylor unable to get the rebound.
I tell you, rebounding off the defensive board is just, off the offensive board is almost non-existent.
Yeah, East Brunswick has pretty much abandoned its outside game, too.
Ferdig tries to save it. Bowen will come in. Lane will take a seat. 5:29 remains. This the final period. Stevens by 4, 44-40. And what a basketball game it's been. Thomas looks outside to Zatorsky.
Well, Stevens is definitely in a predictable slowdown here. Just waiting for an opening.
He'll take it. Newsom throws it up.
Oh.
And they call a foul on Harmon. And that is his 4th, Jim?
Yes, it is. And more importantly, it brings Tony Newsom to the line.
And I tell you, Mark has really done a good job on Newsom. Newsom is just, you can hold him down for a while, but you just know he's going to come through. But Mark has done more than an incredible job on him.
Lovett comes in. Someone's got to come out. Yeah, they'll pull Lovett back in.
Well, okay, he just entered the game.
Newsom will have one more. Makes it 45-40.
He is the difference at this point.
Tony Newsom heading to the University of Niagara. Nice find for them.
If you look back thus far, that 3rd period is hurting East Brunswick. Let's see if they can overcome that. They trail by 5, 45-40, with 5 minutes left in this game.
Ooh. Thought it'd be a foul there.
Forte inside to Taylor. Yes, and that's what they have to do.
And I tell you, who's going to foul him down there? Thomas has 3.
That's right.
Bowen has 4, and Newsom has 4. So who's going to foul him?
Bears trailing by 3 now, 45-42. Zatorsky loses it.
He called an offensive foul, actually.
He's pushed.
Zatorsky, I tell you, it's something when you lose your confidence, and
he's tight out there.
It's very apparent. He's been that way for 2 games now.
A 3-point play here for East Brunswick can turn this game around. And it would also tie it up. Fertig will try it.
Way off.
He heard you.
Harmon.
Oh!
Charleston underneath. Won't go. Fertig. Won't go. Charleston has it again. Yes! 45-44. The Bears down by 1.
Yeah, we're back in it again.
What a game. 4 minutes remaining. Newsom against Forte. Puts it up, and the foul will be called on Brian.
Brian played a little close on that game. It's obviously the strategy for Stevens is for Newsom to get in there, launch a shot, hope he gets fouled.
And as I said, he's the type of player that plays under control. If he drives, he can pull up without committing an offensive foul. And it's working for the Hawks right now. But Brett Charleston with a big offensive rebound.
About 3 of them there.
Down on that other end of the board there.
He has 1 more.
That was Forte's second foul, by the way, so he's not in trouble.
The Hawks by 1. And now by 2.
Trent is the one from the starting lineup that's resting at this point.
They're looking inside for Taylor. There's no secret.
Boy, they have him completely surrounded. So somebody has to be open.
But they have Thomas leaning on Taylor rather than Bowen.
I'm sure the officials are watching that closely.
Fertig, 3-pointer, won't go. There's Charleston, yes! We're tied at 46.
I'll tell you, and he's my MVP. Brett Charleston always gets the crucial basket.
Boy, you heard the crowd on that one.
Forte almost knocks it away. Harmon, can he get it? No. The ball's still alive.
Oh, gosh.
Newsom across to Zatorsky. And they're going to call Taylor for hitting Zatorsky after the shot.
Well, Dwayne picks up his 4th foul. Well, you talked about the confidence factor for Bill Zatorsky. He's going to have an opportunity to show it here.
Zatorsky, I tell you, averages 20.3 points per game. And
he's got 7.
Makes it. So he's in the bonus. He'll get another 47-46. 3:02 remaining.
This is a 2-shot foul, John, so you know another one coming.
So he hits both ends. 2-point lead now again for the Hawks. And here we go, back and forth. Forte calling out a play. Fertig, ball is stolen by Zatorsky.
Well, he came through there.
Simply a bad pass by Brian. They're gonna hold it. Set Newsom up. Inside for Thomas. And a foul's gonna be called on Fertig.
Fertig again, yep. 4th foul on Dave. Let's see if Trent is inserted here.
And I think one of the determining factors at this point is gonna be the officiating.
Well, I think the determining factor is going to be that Tony Newsom is going to get that ball in his hands for the next 2.5 minutes. When the Hawks have the ball, he wants it. And when it's crunch time, Tony Newsom wants the ball.
Timeout.
I've saw him 3 games this year, and each time he's come through when you have to have the points.
Well, this is really an enjoyable game, isn't it? We're seeing 2 quality clubs going at it, tooth and nail. Each team looking for an advantage any way they can. It's 48-46 with, who is it? I guess Thomas is going to be going to the line this time. See if he can extend that lead to 4 points. And East Brunswick's going to be doing its best to come down the other end and get its points.
Well, I'll tell you, see Bo Henning, and Bo Henning's telling this team, we got to be aggressive, but try not to foul. We get the ball, we want to take a good shot. We don't want to just throw up anything. The game's very close. He's saying it rather calmly. Therefore, he's going to keep his team rather calm. They're a veteran team. They've been here before, as we pointed out 3 years ago, and they can deal with pressure.
Yes, they can. That's one of the nice things of having a lot of seniors on your team. So any one of a number of people can emerge as a hero or a goat, depending on what happens.
Thomas at the line.
Big foul shots here, obviously.
It's a bonus situation. (49-46). Short. Zatorsky on the rebound.
Z comes through.
51-46. Stevens by 5.
EB might need a 3-pointer here.
Taylor, turnaround. It'll go, and he's fouled.
Well, there's the opportunity. Who's the foul on?
Zatorsky, I believe.
You got it. It's only his 2nd foul.
Big foul shots now for Dwayne Taylor. And a technical is called.
Well, let's see what this is all about. They did call the T?
I thought so. Wait, we'll see. Oh, they changed the foul. They're calling it on Bowen.
Oh, dear. Okay. So Dwayne Bowen.
That's his 5th.
George Bowen, excuse me.
George Bowen is out of there with 2:12.
I'm sure that's why Cirillo is very upset. Phil, you thought that Zatorsky was the one that fouled?
I thought Zatorsky and Bowen were there. I just thought they would call it on Zatorsky.
Well, this game isn't over yet, folks.
We have 2:12. Taylor's at the line. East Brunswick trails 51-48. Taylor could bring East Brunswick within 2. And he's short.
And Bill Thomas with the rebound.
That's right. Stevens has been getting those rebounds off the missed foul shots. Oh, look at that. They just clear it out and let...
Newsom will take it. Ooh. And he hits.
Big shot.
When it's crunch time, Tony Newsom wants the ball. No doubt about it. I watched him 3 games now.
53-48. 1:45 left in the game. Across. Harmon can't save it.
That's a tough one.
It's a tough one, but nothing to panic about. 1:42 left.
Timeout, East Brunswick.
So the Bears call timeout here. And it looks like Trent's going to go into the game now. But to have a 5-point advantage with less than 2 minutes to go and have the ball, no doubt about it, J.P. Stevens is in the driver's seat.
Well, they're in the driver's seat, but it's not a lost call. You had Bowen out of the game. I think, again, you got to try to take advantage of Taylor, getting that ball down low to Taylor, having him go up, draw the foul or whatever. Keep your poise, and as we pointed out, they're a veteran team, and I'm sure they will. A good timeout by Bo Henning.
Good point, Phil. I think the other thing is to penetrate. Stevens is in some foul trouble. If anything, get to the line.
Well, the Bears have not been too successful on the foul line this 4th quarter. They've had 8 opportunities and have only been able to can 3 of them. So a strength for the Bears in their previous two games, especially with Brian Forte being in there. has not been a strength this time, and 5 points and the game would be tied.
All right, East Brunswick will come out.
And Taylor is sitting.
East Brunswick's going with Trent, Harmon, Charleston, Fertigan, Forte.
This is the speed lineup.
Well, they're the shooters. Bohannon has decided to go with the pure shooters, the people who can put it up from anywhere on the court.
Well, nobody knows his team better than Bohannon, so he has a reason.
Here we go, 142, and Newsom can't see it now. He comes up with it and knocked away by Harmon, and he's out of the game.
Called a foul. Mark thinks he...
I tell you, I thought he slapped that ball too. I thought the ball may have went out on his leg, but I didn't think it was a foul. I tell you.
And J.P. Stevens is right where it wants to be.
Newsom had no idea where the ball was, finally caught up to it, and Harmon, trying to prevent the layup, draws his 5th foul, and he's out.
And he's done, as I said before, a credible job on Tony Newsom, because Tony Newsom's a super ball player. Mark has played him well today.
(53-48). Newsom will go to the line, shooting 2. (54-48).
If you're wondering how many points Tony Newsom has, 15 so far in this second half.
12 below his average.
55, East Brunswick down by 7. 1:38 left in the game. Forte looks underneath, and they're going to call a foul on. And this is what I said, officiating is going to be important.
You're right, it's a call that probably normally wouldn't be made.
And I agree with you, Jimmy, I always don't, but I tell you, to get at this point in the game to call that type of a foul, it makes you wonder.
Yeah, you don't like the officials to be the determining factors.
And certainly we're not jumping on the officials, but we're trying to call it as we see it.
Well, I'm jumping on the officials. I think it's a tough call this time of game.
Well, they're not consistent. The first half, they let him rumble. Newsom drives his way down, weaving in and out. Gerdes doesn't know what to do with it, finally gets it out to Lane, and fouled by Forte.
And Brian drove a little forearm in there, and I think that's more of a frustration type of situation off that call before. And I think you got to give credit also where it's due. Stevens is making the foul shots in the 4th quarter.
They're rising to the occasion at the line.
They are 7 for 9 on the line at this quarter.
Gerdes misses. Taylor can't hold on to it.
It's kind of the way things have been going for the Bears this quarter.
Timeout, Bohannon.
Well, what do you do at this point? Really, I think East Brunswick has had the right strategy.
Well, what do? You get Reisner, you get your 3-point shooters in the game, and get ready to throw up some bombs.
Let them fly, huh?
Well, speaking of 3-pointers, Fertig has been cold today, Phil. So it may be time to see Reisner.
Yeah, he's thrown up a couple of long-distance shots, and he had 3 of them in the game against Perth Amboy a couple of nights ago, and boy, he really looked terrific, but today it's a different story, and that's the way things go. I think Brett Charleston also has had his good moments, but by and large, it's not the type of game we've been used to seeing from Brett.
Well, thus far, the story has been what the story was 2 previous games, that of rebounding. I don't know what the tally is, but clearly the crucial rebounds, too many crucial rebounds were
Yeah, by the way,
the Hawks.
I don't want to look ahead, but East Brunswick will open up state action in Central Jersey Group 4 Tuesday night in their gymnasium. I believe they will be hosting Ocean Township. So that's an opportunity for the fans to get out and see the game, see the Bears play, certainly for the final time in their home court. And if they do win that game, they venture down to meet undefeated Trenton. And that'll be a tough game.
Here we go, 1:15 left in this game. Stevens by 7.
They're going to wait for East Brunswick to foul him, no doubt.
And there goes Trent with the foul.
Boy, and they foul Statorsky.
I tell you, you can't believe that fans are leaving. Well, a lot of them are up front over there getting ready to get to the door, but I don't know how you leave a game like this.
Believe it or not, that's Trent's first foul.
Satorsky misses. Trent with the rebound. They've got to hustle.
They got to shoot.
Trent, three-pointer. Won't go. Charleston tries to save it, but Newsom pulls it down. Forte comes up with it, dumps it off to Charleston. The ball's blocked.
Great block by Newsom.
Charleston finally puts it in. 55-50.
Oh.
Oh.
What about a travel?
Oh.
Yes.
You called it.
The second time around.
Things are still interesting here, folks.
I apologize. I'm getting caught up in this as a fan.
All right, East Brunswick wants to call another timeout, John. I guess. Well, I saw Bo Henning signal, but maybe it's after the play.
Taylor is in, and foul's going to be called on Lane.
Ooh, not what Stevens wants to do.
I tell you.
Brian Forte is on the line now to shoot a 1-on-1, and it stops the clock.
Potter comes in rather for the first time today.
And Forte, a 69% foul shooter. And a young man that's used to pressure.
Let me set the stage for you. 38 seconds remain. Forte is at the line. Stevens in the lead, 55-50. Bryan in a 1-on-1 situation. Makes it. A big foul shot here can bring East Brunswick within 3. He does it. East Brunswick pressing. Looking for the turnover. They're going to call a foul on Potter.
And that's what they wanted to do, of course.
Thomas will go to the line. They keep moving Potter. They're using Potter as a foul man.
Hatchet man, if you will. Was his first.
Big free throw attempts here.
Oh, this is a big one right here, no doubt about it. If East Brunswick can get the rebound, they still have enough time to go out, come down and try the three-pointer.
And they're going to label Thomas the Bear Killer. As I've mentioned all game, he seems to play well against the Bears.
56-52. And he cans both of them. 57-52. East Brunswick down by 5. They hustle up court quickly.
Got to try a three here.
Fertig, that's his spot, but he can't do it. And Lane with the rebound and is fouled by Charleston. So with 21 seconds, Lane will go to the line and could affect put the ice on this game.
Yeah, I was going to say 14 times Stevens has gone to the line. Phil, you called it before. Foul shooting may be the difference with Stevens having gotten the 1-on-1 early in the second half. And they're converting.
And Lane puts in a big free throw.
Yeah, that's
58-52.
It's a big one there, no doubt about it.
Right now, it's the same number of points that was scored by both teams in 1987.
Good observation.
The Hawks by 7, 21 seconds. Almost the backcourt. Forte will take the three-pointer. He's short. Satorsky with the rebound. Trent on the foul.
Well, I believe East Brunswick's going to have dreams of J.P. Stephen Hawks for this 1988-89 season. A chance that these two teams can meet again, Phil, because they're both in the brackets for the state tournament, but Stevens is seated much higher, and East Brunswick would have to get past first Ocean and then Trenton, undefeated and top-seeded Trenton, in order to have a chance to get at Stevens again.
Zatorsky makes it 60-52 as the crowd starts to file out. And that should put the nail in the coffin. 61-52. Forte, they'll let him drive, and it's knocked away by Thomas. 4 seconds, that'll do it. On Lane follows up. 63-52 is the final.
And much happiness there on the court, John. Well, I think we talked about at the beginning, there was a revenge factor. And even though Stevens won the game twice this year, they wanted to beat East Brunswick in the tournament, and they did.
Well, I'll tell you, it comes down to a thing of averages here. The Hawks were able to keep the Bears under what they allow, what they're most teams, which is a 56.6 average. They held the Bears to 52 points. And
well, take a look at these fourth quarter free throw shooting percentages. Tony Newsom, of course, the big player, was 4 for 6 on the line. Zatorsky was 4 for 5. Thomas sank all 3 of his foul shots. Scott Lane sank twice, 2 times, and Gertis, of course, missed. But you add that all up, and you find that that's the difference in the game.
Well, and what can you say about Stevens? They came in here, they knew they were going to go basically with 5 players. They hung tough. Rebounding was a key, and near the end it was the free throw shooting. But they're a team destined for this title, I believe. 3rd time they beat East Brunswick. I don't recall last time that a team has done that to East Brunswick in basketball.
That's
in
right.
some time.
It's been a while.
But, John, I'd like to say that East Brunswick ought to be proud. I mean, they've been here 5 times in the last 6 years. They've been here 2 under Ed Leibowitz, 2 under Frank Noppenberger, and now they're here under Bo Henning. And I don't think any other team in the county can say out of the last 6 years that they've been in the finals 5 times.
Yeah. I wanted to reaffirm what Phil talked about earlier. We were talking before the game what a fine job that Bo Henning has done this year. He really was very unfamiliar with the situation at East Brunswick, yet he took the talent, harnessed it, and really did about as well as a coach could possibly do under those circumstances. Brought East Brunswick to the finals of GMC, 20 victories. Boy, I'll tell you what, 20 victories in high school basketball in this conference is very difficult to do.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, there's not enough that you can say about what East Brunswick has done this year, far beyond the expectations of everyone, I think. And their season isn't over, as you mentioned before, Jim. They still have the state tournament in front of them. More importantly, though, I think that the future for East Brunswick is coming. They've had an outstanding JV team, and Bo will be there. I think, he's the type of coach that knows how to get the most out of his players. They respect him. And I'm really excited about the basketball program and the future here at East Brunswick.
Yeah, I was at the end of the semifinal game in which East Brunswick beat Perth Amboy, and Frank Noppenberger, the athletic director, made a comment to no one in particular. He says, we got the program where we want it right at this point, and I agree with him.
And they do. The JV team happens to be in the finals of the JV tournament, which will be played tomorrow. So they have depth on the varsity, and they have an excellent JV program as well.
And as we close out, I think it's only fair that for Jimmy and Phil that I say thank you to all of you who have followed us this season. It's been a great season. It went from football to basketball. It's always been our pleasure to be here and to bring you the action. We hope you enjoyed it. We look forward to bringing you back in the fall, East Brunswick High School sports. So for Phil Hill and Jim Allinder, I'm John Meggiolaro saying thanks for being with us.